Today's guest has played 28 games for the Lionesses and over 50 games for Chelsea. She's here today in her role as commercial manager for Chelsea with a huge announcement that Chelsea are coming to play in Sydney next August. Thanks so much for joining me today, Kylie.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, there's obviously a lot that I want to cover, but first, the big news. Chelsea are coming to play in Sydney next year, which is pretty exciting. What are you looking
I can tell by your grin that you're excited, so it makes me excited. No, it's the whole purpose of it. Look, I played here in 2012. Come here many times on holiday as well as coming for work and business. Came in the World Cup to see what you guys created for the World Cup when it was here, and it was insane. So it was only right that if we got the opportunity to come this way, and it helps having two Matildas in our squad, to come back to Australia for the first time with the team. So when the opportunity came along, we thought it would be a great moment to bring the two nations together. A little bit of WSL tied in with a little bit of W League, and put it in one place, which is an incredible city. So no, I'm super excited for next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely super excited as well. But like you mentioned, we've got obviously two Matildas are coming back to play in Australia in front of Aussie crowds, in front of an A-League Women's All-Star team. But
well, I was hoping that they don't get booed for the first time, being that kind of on the opposition, I guess. But no, I can't see that happening. But I think it's just incredible to give the A-League girls an opportunity. Some of the youngsters that might have never played against the likes of Sam, they might have only seen her or maybe been a squad with her. So it's completely different when you get to play against some of the people that you look up to, but also to play against a team like Chelsea. I mean, we're very lucky that we have so many superstars, Lionesses, USA stars, Colombian stars. Like it's an abundance, run out of superlatives for them all. But the fact that the A-Leaguers will get to play against that and the All-Stars, but then also fans get to come and see them in real life.
Well, like you mentioned, it is a pretty star-studded Chelsea team. You've got everyone from, Alyssa Thompson to Lucy Bronze. There's a lot of international girls, but also Lionesses. Like, is it going to be, do you think, like, I'm not sure if you know yet, like a full strength side or more of a reserve side?
I'd like to think so. For the first time, I was saying earlier, they haven't got a major tournament in the summer. So for the past 5 years, they've been back-to-back tournaments. So they finished their season in May. We'll get 1 or 2 weeks off and then meet up with their national teams to go to either an Olympics, a World Cup, a Euros, and that's been back-to-back since, I think, 2020. And they haven't had any time off. So this will be the first summer that they actually get to go on holiday. In May, they'll hopefully finish maybe winning the Champions League, which I'd love for us to do. And then they will be set into the wild to go on lots of holidays. So yeah, they'll do that, and then they'll meet up, have a proper pre-season, and then hopefully get the girls out to Australia, as many as we can, so they can all come here and enjoy this wonderful hospitality, but also hopefully a wonderful game.
It is, you're playing at Allianz Stadium. I think there's like 45,000 capacity, so it's going to be a pretty big crowd. That should be exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, these girls now, like, you forget that because they're playing in their international squads, like they're playing in front of these. I mean, the Lionesses have played 90,000 at Wembley.
Yeah.
It's once upon a time, 5-6 years ago, playing in 40,000 was quite rare. So I think for them now, it's quite a nuance to them, and in fact they feel like they've earned the right to do that, and they love it and they thrive off it. So anything, it hopes to move up another level. So if we can pack that crowd out come August time, I think it'll be an amazing spectacle. I know you guys put on an amazing show. The A-Leaguers and the All-Stars will be absolutely buzzing to get out there and go against the Blues, and our lot will be raring to go because they won't have played or probably played together for a couple of months. So that initial first game is always exciting. We might have some new players because of pre-season and stuff, so you never really know. But the first game is always the funnest when you're back together, so it should be a great spectacle.
But I guess also for you, I know you're not playing and you have a different role in Chelsea now, but you're no stranger to Australia. You played in the A-League, or I think it might have had a different name back when you were playing, but do you have good memories of playing in the A-League?
No, I had a fantastic season. Look, I was so blessed to get an opportunity back when the WSL was actually in the summer. So we played in the English summer, which meant we got the winter off or your summer off. So I chose to come and play for Perth. Glory, and I had one of the best summers of my life / winters in English terms. But I went home and recommended any other player, if they got the opportunity to go and play in Australia, they should. So Jem Beattie, Kim Little, Laura Bassett, a lot of them did actually come in and then play for different teams over here. But it's an incredible country. It's so beautiful to see. That's the beauty of playing in the league, is that you get to go visit all the cities that you play in. The nightlife's great, the food's great, but for me, it's the people. Like, the people were so welcoming. The teams you play against, it was competitive, but afterwards they'd shake your hand and then we'd go out afterwards and have beers. And it was, for me, it's an experience that you can't get anywhere else. It's such a beautiful country and everyone should come and see it.
So it's safe to say you did like the experience.
Very much loved it. If I get any opportunity to come back, I'm definitely always like first hand up. Yeah, I'll do it.
Well, it's good to know that you'll be back here next year for
absolutely,
the Chelsea games. But like you mentioned, you did play in the A-League like for one season, but you had a pretty incredible career like outside of that as well, playing for the Lionesses and
Thank you.
obviously Chelsea as well. But
Yeah.
like, what are your, I guess, just favourite memories looking back? I know you retired a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
How's
yeah.
that been so far?
Oh, the retirement's been great. I'm not going to lie. I was very much ready for it. Everyone's like, oh, how was it? I just knew. I signed 3 years at San Diego when I signed for the Wave. And I went back for my second year pre-season, and I just knew that my heart wasn't 100%. And I think that I've always been a player, if I can't give 100%, then I'm not going to do it. And even the thought of me like letting the team down by 5-10%, that was the right time for me to decide to hang up the boots and gloves. So I play a lot of golf now, play a bit of paddle, and I work pretty much full time. And I love my job. I love the role that I have. I get classed as like a legend, so I do a bit of stuff on the side, which means I get to kind of represent Chelsea from a different side, which is great. But I think as a player, God, like playing in the 2019 World Cup, making my official World Cup debut. I'd been to 2 World Cups before that and never played and got on the pitch, which happens as a goalkeeper. To do that was fantastic. Lifting my first FA Cup with Chelsea at Wembley. My mum got to see that. And I lost her the year after, unfortunately, but she got to see me lift an FA Cup, which was pretty incredible. So yeah, there's some amazing memories. I think that some of my best memories are with Chelsea, just because there was so many happy moments, happy times, and I have some of my best friends because I played for that wonderful club. So I'll always hold it very close to my heart, and yeah, some pretty cool career highlights.
Yeah, well, I guess you also like started playing football at a time, and especially like I imagine playing for the national team, the England women's national team, where the biggest crowds would have been around, 25,000, maybe 30,000. But now they're
If
regularly.
they were that,
if even that. And now you're playing in front of regular crowds of like 80,000 and even more at the Euros, as we're seeing. Like, how have you seen, I guess, the growth of women's football across your career and even now as well?
It's insane. Like, even that FA Cup final, my mum afterwards, she was like, I didn't tell you this because you were little, but like when I was little, it used to be on TV. FA Cup final day in England's always massive. Used to be just for men's, but even for women's, it was one of the first games that was ever on TV, and it was on free to air. And my mum said, like, when I was little, I said, oh, one day I'm going to play there. And my mum and dad were like, you're not, because girls aren't allowed to play at Wembley. It's just facts.
Wow.
So then for me to be able to do that just showed obviously the growth. But even the fact, the first FA Cup final that was there was 30,000 people, and then after that was 50,000, and then it sold out, and that was in 3 years. And then you look at what the Lionesses did when they won the Euros. And yeah, like we sell out most of our crowds at Kings Meadow. We have large crowds at Stamford Bridge. Lionesses sell out most of the stadiums they play at now, and it still like gives me a crazy feeling. I walk into that stadium, or I'm walking up Wembley Way, and you just see how many people, crowds and crowds, and all the names on the back of shirts, and people stop you, and you're like, oh, are you Carly Telford? Like, you used to play for England. I'm just like, I don't know, it just blows my mind that like that is how it is now, and it's like they're superstars. But at the end of the day, everyone was just a little girl with a dream to play, usually for their club and then for their country. And I think that's a torch that we've always held. And I think that hopefully when we bring the girls over here and we're playing against the A-Leaguers and the All-Stars, and then they see the girls who are playing for Chelsea, that there's little girls in Sydney and who are watching on the TV, I think I want to be like those, because that's where the dream starts when you're small and you first see it in real life. Like, it feels tangible. It feels like it's not that far away from you, that they can inspire the next group of young women that hopefully go on to be the next Sam Kerrs, Ellie Carpenters, that maybe play for Chelsea one day, but they started right here watching them in Sydney at the Allianz. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. It starts from a little dream, but funny enough, turned into a real one.
Yeah, well, I guess even just like that made me think of something. Speaking of Sam, like I was at her like book launch. She was doing like a book signing a couple of years ago, and I was like walking along the line, and there was just like little girls and like tweens and like young teens just wearing like the Chelsea jerseys and having her name on the back. Like, that must be pretty cool to see the effect that also like she is having in Australia to hopefully see more.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to be Sam's friend for 4 or 5 years now, and I forget who Sam is just because of that. Like, Sam's just my friend. Like, but when you see actually like the effects of people, like if we go for a coffee, there's like so many young boys being like, oh, Sam, like I always pick you on my AFC team, like you're a legend, like whatever. And then going around like London, like different parts where there's a lot of Aussies live, and they're like, oh, Sam Kerr, like Queen of Australia, like you forget that she's actually like a superstar. Like, obviously I know she's a superstar because had to train with her, and she scored a lot of goals against me. But in terms of like just who she is and what she represents, like we're so lucky, and I feel so blessed to have been in a team with her for so long and shared a changing room with her, because she's honestly one of the best people I've ever met in my life. Like, yes, she's a great footballer, but she's also a really good person, and I think that shows with who she is and how she represents herself and how she represents as the captain of this country. And there's a reason why she is that. It's, you don't pick that just by half-hearted or just because she's a good goal scorer. It's because she's a really, really good person. So yeah, we're so lucky to have her. I'm so lucky to have spent a lot of time with her. But yeah, hopefully we're going to bring her home and everyone can see her in real life, and maybe, you never know, she might get the flip out.
Yeah, maybe. I hope so. The Australian crowds would love that. I guess we do, like in Australia, we always talk about Sam Kerr and the rise of the Matildas, like after the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2023 and the impact that's had. But like, I'm curious what it was like, or what it's been like in the UK as well. Like, you know, over on the other side of the world, like how have you seen the growth just of the game over there?
Oh, it's been incredible. It's especially since I think 2015 in Canada, we won the bronze medal was quite a moment, and people started recognizing like, oh, there was like so many people watched on, millions watched on TV, which was crazy. And then 2019 World Cup in France, that was another key moment. I think we had 12.5 million watch the semi-final v the USA, and then you move on to the Euros. And to have it and host it in our own country, and then for the girls to go on and do what they did, which was create an incredible amount of history around record number of crowds, them actually winning it. There was so many things broken, TV records, all that kind of stuff. The fever, it literally felt, and I think this is the biggest comment up here, is like it just felt like a men's football tournament. Like everyone was packing the pubs. Like there was no difference. People weren't going to watch women's football. They were just going to watch the England game. They were like, are you going to watch the England game tonight? It was in the offices. It was in the streets. It was people on the buses. Like, did you see such and such? Have you heard about this? And that's when you really notice a change, because actually like gender was removed. People were just going to watch football. Yeah. And I think for us, that's something as female footballers we've always wanted, is just to be looked at as footballers, not like to be genderized because of what we do. We just literally do the same thing. So I think that was like a massive tipping point, because you've seen young boys and girls in the garden pretending to be Millie Bright, Alessia Russo, like Chloe Kelly scoring the winning goal and running around the garden. Like that was it, and that's what I used to do when I was little, except I was David Beckham, I was Alan Shearer, like they were my people. But now these young boys and girls were looking at these stars on the TV and thinking, I want to be like them. So I think that was like a huge shift, and then the crowds all went up, and like it comes like they're hand in hand, the media and the TV, like over a massive boost, having a lot of the stuff on BBC, which is free to air, so that everyone can access it. Everyone can book that one at that 2:00 slot on an afternoon, or 5 o'clock or 8 o'clock after you've had dinner to watch the game. Makes such a difference. So yeah, I think we've gone on a massive, and then we went World Cup year after, which was crazy again. Obviously you guys hosted it, so it was kind of everyone staying up late and trying to watch the games, and then flying over here to watch the final, landing in Sydney and just seeing the fever of like how many Matildas jersey there was, but also how many other nationalities there were watching it. Like it was just such a perfect city to have it in. So yeah, I think that the game is in the UK has gone. It's just been kind of super tracked and super fast into like a crazy amount of, well, reason I have a job now, because it needs to be commercialized. We need sponsorship because the girls people want to sponsor the women's teams and pay a lot of money to do so. So the game is just growing, and it's a snowball effect, and everyone's trying to keep up, I think. And it's probably just like Australia. It's like, now we've inspired all these young kids. Like, where do we put them all? How do we keep them inspired? So yeah, doing stuff like this where you have touch points where you bring the talent home, you show them how close they can be to it. It's just going to keep them wanting to be the best.
Yeah, well, I want to talk more about your role soon as well. I definitely want to
That's
get back
okay.
to that.
I don't want to.
But I actually really love what you said, how it just felt like football. Like it didn't feel like men's or women's football at the Euros as well. Like, you know, you're getting those massive crowds. But in terms of like a club level as well, do you think it's kind of like that? Like with Chelsea, men's and women's, does it kind of feel like it's just football? Like, yeah.
I mean, to us it does, because we've been playing it for so long. I mean, there's still, unfortunately, people that don't want women's football to be successful. They don't understand it. They don't know about it. They don't think it's good. And that's fine, and we're happy for those people, but we just want those people to stay away from the game. That's fine. Enjoy men's football. But there are people now that come into it, because for so long, Chelsea, for the past 4 or 5 years, where we've gone through like new ownership changes, a couple of managers, the women's team have actually been holding the kind of successful side of the business. So actually we have a lot of of fans that support both teams, which we're really lucky. Because with that support comes new fans, comes new people in the stadium. A lot of those people then will go and tell their mates about it or defend the players when they're like, oh, Chelsea aren't that good. They're like, yeah, but our women's team is. So yeah, it's for us, it's great. And I think that shared account, that shared support of each other, that kind of a lot of the men's players, like, they do a lot of shoots together with the women's team, so they kind of obviously know each other from that perspective. Obviously having the two James, Reece and Lauren, obviously there's a natural kind of leadership of where, like, he is the captain of Chelsea and he has a huge respect for what Lauren does and who she is, so that kind of transcends throughout the rest of the team as well. So look, they're great, they're very supportive, they're obviously a very young group as well. They're trying to find their feet and doing quite well this season, so look, we'll support each other where we can. A lot of the girls go to the men's games, and the men will try to come to ours when they're on at Stamford Bridge, so it's been really nice to see, to give it that kind of family feel. And I think the more normalised they make it as well, the more normal it is for their fans who maybe haven't watched women's football or aren't sure of it. Actually, well, if Cole Palmer says if he thinks it's good, then we think it's good. It's like a seal of approval for them. So I think it's great, and I think it'll just become more and more normal as kind of the years move on.
Well, like, I know, like you mentioned, it's probably always going to be some people that are like, I don't want to watch women's football, but to have the men also showing the men's fans just how good the game is, that must be to be good.
No, it's great as well. And a lot of these these guys have like young daughters, and you see them on the pitch and their young daughters and their young sons are playing football together, because there's probably nothing better as a parent and growing up, like something you've done your whole life and then your child wants to do it, and now their young girls can do it and represent their countries and keep their name on their backs and fulfill their prophecies as being the next kind of footballer. So yeah, I think you'll see a lot of like young families, and especially male footballers, like their girls will grow up probably playing football. I remember Harper Beckham, like, she was playing football. I don't think she does anymore, but I remember David, when he came into change room, saying that Harper was kicking a ball around in the garden with him, and he loved it. He loved the fact that his daughter might play football. And I think a lot of these young lads now will, and they can see that, like, actually there's a pathway for them. There's strong teams out there, like whether it's Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, that their young girls can grow up and play for. Once upon a time, that's probably just a dad's dream with his boy. You know, it can be a dad's dream and his girl, and you can be girl dad. So, which is very popular and quite a cool thing to be now. So, I think there's lots of that as well.
Yeah, there's so much like demand for Chelsea now in women's football. It feels like, and like you mentioned, there's kind of a need for a commercial manager now, of someone to kind of do that role. Like, what is your role involved in terms of like sponsorships?
What is my role? How do I simplify this? Like, I'm a really bad salesperson. No, I'm not a bad salesperson. I'm actually pretty good, apparently. But no, like, technically, like, I'm the commercial manager, so my job is to get sponsorship in for the women's team. So we are a completely separate entity now to the men's team. So we have the same badge, same club. We're more brother and sister than under one umbrella now. So we can bring in our own sponsors. So we have different sponsors to the men's. So on the back shirt we have Skoda, we have Here We Flow, which are a menstrual cycle and period product. We have 3, who are our training kit. So yeah, we've got lots of different ones. Daily Louise, who's jewellery. So we can tinker in different areas where maybe the men's team aren't, but also we have people that want to sponsor the women's team because they believe in the women's team and that's what they want to do. That's where they want to invest. That's where they can feel they can tell their story strongest. So yeah, it's my job to find those people, and then they will give me their money, and then it will get distributed back into the women's team for us to keep behind players, which we like to do. But also, like, I think it just shows the strength of where brands are realizing how their values align with women's sport. And I always say women's sport, but of course I want as many people that sponsor Chelsea women, but I think as long as people are investing in women, I think it's a good thing. So it might not be our team, it might not be our sport, it could be somewhere else, and that's where their values lie. And I think that's great, because I think the more your business is investing in women, then the more successful you're going to be, because I just think that investing in women is always a good thing. And I think there's such a good opportunity now, because there's such a low it's not a cheaper entry point, but it's a lesser entry point than it is in men's sport, just because of the eyeballs it doesn't currently have. But I think if you can grow with the sport, your business grows with it, and that's what we found. A lot of people that have come on board to begin with are now seeing, like, Skoda came in as global sponsorship, and now their principal sponsorship, and trebled their investment in like a year, because they've seen the benefit from it. And I just think that's going to continue to go. The Matildas, some of the deals they've done since the World Cup with different commercial entities, and everyone's doing it differently. Nobody has to do it the same. Chelsea operates completely separate to the way Arsenal might operate, or Man City, and that's fine. That's what works for us and what works for them. But I think sponsorship will continue to grow, especially as media values come in. So Sky and The BBC have paid large amounts of money to make sure they can show as many games as possible. We know that Disney have bought Champions League, so it's now being shown across the USA and multiple other regions. Japanese TV, Norwegian TV are all kind of new players into the game as well. So the more money that comes in from those, I think the more eyeballs see brands, and then the more brands are more likely to invest, which is what happened with the Premier League way back when it became so successful. So it's my job to basically do that. I do love my job. I don't sell. I tell a story about this team, where it came, where it started, where it came from, where it started, and where it's going to, hopefully, and the amazing, incredible athletes that we have right in the middle of that all, who all have incredible stories and want to tell them to help the game grow.
Well, I guess you have gotten some, you've gotten to deal with some pretty incredible sponsors. And one being Alexis, although many might know him as Serena Williams' husband, but he owns.
I think he's happy with that.
But he's bought, like a 10% stake in the Chelsea women's team, which is pretty big. And he's a massive supporter of women's sports. Like, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about like Athlos. So it was a very big women's only athletics event started recently. But it must be pretty cool to have someone like him on his side, knowing that he does really support a lot of women in sport. Yeah.
So when we did split the business out, that was one of the things we looked for, is like an investor. So obviously he owns 10% of the business, which means we get 10% of his ideas. We get a lot more than that, believe it. But he is, like I say, been a female advocate of sport since, I think, a certain Alex Morgan tweeted something and he said, I'll get involved, and put his money where his mouth is, literally. Invested in multiple different sporting entities, one being LA, the Angels in the NWSL, and then has invested in multiple things since then. And Athlos is his next kind of venture alongside us, which everyone would have seen what he did in New York and how different that was, and how he supported his women, how he also paid his women what they deserved immediately after the event, which I know women have struggled to get paid in athletics. So even to do that it's a huge moment. Alexis his mind is incredible. Yes, his wife is incredible also in Serena Williams, but this is his project. This is what he wants to do, and he believes in that just for his two girls, and he wants them to grow up in an equal way, having the same opportunities as everyone else. And by doing that, he wants to give back, and investing in women is his thing. So we're lucky to sit around a table with him and listen to his ideas and get him to help us grow our business as well in lots of different ways, in lots of different places of the world as well. So obviously America's key for us. We've got a lot of American players. So we've been to America. We've got some Australian players as well. It's time to bring them back home and celebrate them this side of the world.
Yeah, well, it seems like, whether it's sponsorships or crowds or big tournaments like England, football in England has kind of come a really long way, and also specifically with Chelsea. But do you like kind of where we're at now, or just in the future, do you think there's still a lot more to be done?
Oh, there's so much more we can do, but also I do think that we're at a really good point where I think everyone's kind of right. We need to look at the game like holistically, from everything of investment to, have we got enough staff? Are the players playing too many games, not enough games? Are the stadiums good enough? Are they getting the right kit? Are they getting looked after by the right doctors, physios? Are they getting paid enough? So I think we're at a point where like it's at a good point, and I think everyone kind of needs to catch up. So the investment needs to catch up, the infrastructure needs to catch up, but we also need to keep moving forward. But I think that just needs to be a little bit more gradual, so everything else can kind of catch up with that. So I think that's happening. Not as quick as I'd like it to. I think you see at the top, we're doing really well. The likes of us, Arsenal, Man United and Man City have good infrastructure and good grounds, etc. But everyone else is still not quite there. So we need to make sure as much as we're rising, we kind of bring everyone with us. So as Chelsea, we've always been the ones that will put our necks on the line and maybe be the first to do something that everyone kind of might not like agree with at first, but then you'll find them kind of doing the same or following in a little bit maybe of a different way. But we believe that we're doing it the right way, and we're believing that we're helping the game grow and move forward. And that's what we always do, is try and be the best in every part of the business that we try to be at. And then hopefully everyone will follow, and we kind of learn off each other as well, which is nice, from different sports, from different clubs. But yeah, I think we're in a good spot right now. But as always, I'll always want more. I'll always want the stadiums to be fuller. I'll always want everyone to pay more, buy more merch, pay more tickets, get more season tickets, because I believe that's where women's sports should be. So we've got a long way to go, but I think we're in a good place right now.
Well, Carly, I think we're doing a pretty good job right now. I think Chelsea's on a pretty good path, but super exciting to see where they end up to.
No, and thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Good luck with everything as
Thank
well.
you.
You're doing so well.